Okay, there we go. Alright. Some tech stuff on my end, just trying to get the stream pulled up on a separate monitor. Or separate laptop in my case. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everybody, depending on what time zone you're in, and welcome to the season opener of Formula GT Season 8. We are here at the historic Brands Hatch circuit over in the UK. The weather's actually quite nice here for us being in the UK today. I would have expected like probably, I would say Florida type weather, but maybe a bit more rain here and there. But you know what? I'm not going to be complaining, and I know the drivers are definitely not going to be complaining today. Season opener, points are now on the board. If you remember from the last two races, we didn't have any points on the board for Laguna Seca or Suzuka, but now we're here in Brands Hatch. It's been honestly pretty long 4 weeks because I've been looking forward to this race ever since I stopped casting for Suzuka. But yeah, and I'm sure these drivers are ready to get up and go. We're going to see some new faces here today. Faces that you have not seen during the preseason. And yeah, I'd like to welcome you guys to Formula GT. If you're new here, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus, and I'll be your commentator for today's race. And so here's how the format works. We have qualifying from about 12:30 to 1 o'clock. Or sorry, we have practice from 12:30 to 1 o'clock. And then we go ahead and start our qualifying session. Qualifying is about 10 minutes. And then we take a little bit of an intermission break in between just so drivers can get water, take a bathroom break, get snacks if that's what they do. And then we go straight to the racing. We have 35 laps here around this just under 2.5 mile long circuit. So it's going to be a blast. This track may look kind of simple compared to some tracks that we've recently been at, including Suzuka, but this track is nothing to scoff at. Especially coming into turn 1. If you have too much speed going into turn 1, you are going to end up straight to the gravel. So we're just here waiting for a few cars to come out to the pits. And C-Chan is actually out on track right now. And getting in some early laps. Now, times don't necessarily matter here for these practice sessions. But, oh, getting into the gravel a little bit. Oh, he is really on that grass currently. So that's something you do want to avoid. Brands Hatch is trickier to drive on than it may seem. I was actually driving on this track earlier in a safety car just to kind of get a feel for the track. And yeah, I went off quite a few places with the Formula GT safety car, which I do have I'm actually currently have it equipped. You're right, J-Mac. This track is no joke. It may kind of look like a swan or a paperclip. I heard that it even kind of looks like a coat hanger if the area towards the bottom of the top right of your screen was kind of flatter. But yeah, C-Chan going ahead, and I believe this is actually a Saab powered car. I know there's a few Saab powered cars, air quote, in this. Which I haven't even seen Saab in a while. One of my friends from high school, his dad drove a Saab, and it's pretty cool to see one here on track. Speaking of cars we haven't seen before, this is Flaring Aces. He's part of, I believe that is Deadshot Racing, which is a new team. We didn't see him at all during preseason. Yes, or Deadeye, sorry. It is Deadeye Racing here today. Yeah, Saab is a pretty neat brand. I mean, now they went back to making fighter jets instead of performance cars. They used to be affiliated with GM. So, I mean, it's pretty cool to see Saab as a power unit supplier for these teams. Switching to the Project Zero car, JDK. The Project Zero cars haven't had the smoothest of times for the most part, including now into the gravel for kill switch there. But, so let's see if they can turn their fortunes around. Saab used to be affiliated with GM, and then I think they cut GM for financial reasons. I'm not entirely sure why. But, yeah, I mean, they had some pretty neat cars back in the day. I say back in the day, but mostly like 2010. Which was 14 years ago. I'm sorry if I accidentally just aged everybody in the entire server. So we're just gonna go ahead and just watch these drivers as they go on track. We have 2 drivers currently on track with C-Chan from FFR and then FormulaGTEsports from Deadeye Racing. We have Killswitch who's just vibing in the pits. No real hurry to get out. The biggest thing here is you want to... Christopher Walken. Awesome accent. So, fun fact, I'm from Florida. I've heard that I've had an accent. I just never understood. I guess because I've heard myself talking for the entirety of my 21 years on this planet, and I guess I just never noticed I had an accent. So, I guess I do have an accent. I'll have to look up who Christopher Walken is. That name sounds familiar. I cannot place who that is on the top of my head. When it comes to celebrities, my memory is awful. But when it comes to tracks and cars, it's not as awful. C-Chan going a little bit into the gravel there, which is... I mean, hey, at least you're doing it in a practice session, right? So, better to do it now than later. Speaking of practice sessions and racing, how do you guys feel about Kimi Antonelli, the new Mercedes driver? His crash, and if you were watching the Monza free practice session yesterday, which for me I had to get up at 7 to watch that, which I don't regret anything. But yeah, that was, he's quick. I think he'll do good with Mercedes. Back up to the action we have here currently. Right now we see the Deadeye driver. I'm gonna keep calling him Dead Ace on accident. The Deadeye Racing driver is putting in some pretty decent laps so far. About to set the first official lap. It's currently a second or 1.2 seconds faster than C-Chan. Granted, this won't really change a whole lot when it comes to the race itself. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing F1 or even F2 come back to Brands Hatch. I mean, it's a tricky track. It's trickier than it looks. Yeah, if you carry too much speed into turn 1, like FormulaGTEsports is avoided doing right there, then you're in the gravel. That's like no and ifs or buts about it. It's probably easier in these Super Formula cars than it was in the Mercedes safety car that I was trying to lap around this track earlier. But it's definitely tricky. It's harder than it looks. And almost every single game I have played this track on, it's always been tough. It's always been tricky, but it's been fun. Generally pretty fun. I think they use this in some other series, like I think GB4 actually races here. Which fun fact about GB4, there's actually a Formula 1 official esports driver that races part-time in that series. He's one of the McLaren drivers of Lucas Blakely. Pretty cool guy. Yeah, 106 is pretty rapid. I would, if I were to try to take a lap around this track, I would probably put myself more like the 108, maybe 109. Because I'm not the greatest when it comes to these Super Formula cars, but hey, that's why I have so much respect for the drivers here on track. These things are 4 cylinders. Funny enough, they are 600 horsepower 4 cylinders, which is crazy to me. Extra team is not here. I know we won't have IHR today, unfortunately. Both of the IHR drivers are not here. Actually, I probably should check my Discord just to make sure that there's no one else I need to actually add. Doesn't seem like I'm missing any friend requests. I can always double check though. Because I will be... So, if you guys are first time here, I'll be the commentator for most of, if not the entirety of the season. I was the commentator for the preseason races, although I wasn't the commentator for seasons 1 through 7. I don't know who was the commentator for that, if they had a commentator, but I am honestly really glad to be here. This racing is always amazing here when we get to Formula GT. I always look forward to Formula GT. And I mean, Formula GT just has a lot of talent, honestly. We've seen some wickedly good races here, even in the preseason when 90 points are for grabs. Ooh. Into the wall of Kill Switch. He gets a little too squirrely there, unfortunately. I mean, that's the thing with these Super Formula cars. If you touch grass, unlike real life, touching grass in these cars is not a good thing. IRL, please do touch grass. It is nice, and I regret not doing it more. Vitamin D is important for the human skin. But it's also important that you don't get on the gravel when you're here. Oh, there we go. We have someone new, I believe, joined the session. Getting a little score there, the Canadian driver, on a personal best, but not a session best. We have about 13-ish minutes until we hit qualifying. Actually, wait. No, I am way wrong on that. It is about 18 minutes till qualifying. My brain did math in the opposite direction. We have Viper here, who is also another new driver. The other Deadeye Racing driver is now here. I have not seen Deadeye compete before, so this will be very interesting for myself, for us, and also likely you guys watching the stream right now. While everybody's in the pits, I want to take time to thank our sponsors, IHR Karting Accessories, Velocity Media, Lightspeed Racing, and as of recent, FuelCan.shop. Honestly, I got myself one of the Fuel Can shops. They're nice little water bottles that you can have. They're metal. They're really solid. They're dishwasher safe, which I experimented with, and I hope for the best, and it came out pretty good. The little safety, little warning sticker on the bottom didn't survive, but that never survives anything. But in general, the bottle is really well made. I use it a lot. I take it with me when I go to my college campus, and anytime I go on like a exercising walk, which is weird for me to say, but anytime I go anywhere where I'm gonna need water, I always bring this bottle with me. It's really good, and yeah, you guys should definitely check one out. You can get yourself a special Formula GT version like I did. They have a few different sizes. If you want the cheapest one, there is a 12-ounce one, which is the one I got. And it's honestly pretty good. Very well made. So be sure to check out our sponsors. So the lobby is starting to fill up a bit more. We have a few more drivers here. We have Viper now, we have Whiteout, we have Woodson, we have Gomez. So as I learned, this team is Scuderia Racing Force, which is honestly probably one of the coolest names. They have a different livery than they had during preseason. Honestly, I like it. I like all the liveries here. There's not a bad livery here. All these liveries are awesome. So if you're a level designer. If you're a livery designer or you know a livery designer, shout out to you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys make these cars look great. And honestly, between us, Alpine should hire one of you guys because I don't know what their livery is this year. I have a modded version of their livery on F124 and it's so much better based on the Le Mans prototype. So right now the only car on track here is currently Viper, who is en route to set a session best, taking it away from his teammate. Deadeye Racing might have a Deadeye for that pole position later on today. Actually, I say later on, but it's only in about like 15 minutes from now. So pretty much the biggest thing that you'll want to actually take note of is that there's a lot of elevation changes here on this track. That is part of what makes it tricky, especially coming into turn one. And even through that bucket is what I'm going to call it. I forget the actual name of it. But there's a lot of elevation changes here. If there wasn't any elevation changes here, I think this track would just be kind of okay. But the fact that there's elevation changes, and just like that, you carry too much speed into that corner, you're going to get to the gravel a little bit. And I'm sure you guys know that slick tires are not a big fan of gravel. Although, now that I think about it, I don't think the cars are big fans of gravels either because they're so low to the ground. These things are high-tech super formula cars, and they are not rally cars. This is not Rally GT, but Formula GT. Although Rally GTs has some cool cars, honestly. We have Schulte now entering the lobby. So, the other high caliber XO driver. So right now we got a good amount of drivers here. Viper currently has a 105 on this track, which is the fastest lap time out of everybody so far. About 6 tenths faster than his teammates. B23 is also here today. for this race, so another high caliber driver. So it looks like we actually have 4 teams entirely here today, which is awesome. Oh, we got more people joining in, so can't wait to see everybody here. The only team I know that we officially will not have here, sadly, is IHR, which is unfortunate, but hopefully we'll see them for the next round. This season has nothing but bangers. Although I still do wish they took my consideration of adding special stage route X to the calendar. I'm 100% kidding about that, by the way. Please don't. That, I mean, it would be... I don't know how it'd be. I think it'd be kind of funny because I know there's like that track just causes chaos, especially because it's such a high-speed track. I mean, it's almost nothing but straights. But yeah, we'll save that for like an IndyCar season when we start going for ovals. But I mean, this season, the calendar has nothing but bangers. I mean, we had banger tracks for even the first round, or first 2 rounds of the preseason in Suzuka and Laguna Seca. But we're going to another track that is a certified banger next time out on the 14th of September. We're going to Barcelona, which Barcelona is a really good track. It's what a lot of the racing teams and Formula 1 in particular use to kind of gauge their cars because it has a little bit of everything. It's got high-speed corners, low-speed corners, medium-speed corners, and a lot of straightaways. And we're running the no chicane variant. So the chicane at the end of the track around turns, I think, 13 to 14 doesn't exist anymore. We're having a lot of drivers slot on in. We do have about 12 more minutes before we get into qualifying here, so about 12 more minutes for these drivers to get warmed up and ready to go. The American driver, Woodson, is going ahead and pulling out for Scuderia Racing Force. That's such a cool name. Oh, Pixel is currently not happy with somebody. Oh, that's his joining message. My apologies. That's a join message. I have seen some very funny join and post-race messages over the years with Gran Turismo Sport and this game, but what are some of your guys' favorites in terms of that? I have a friend of mine who's not in the series, unfortunately, although I maybe could try to bribe him into it, but he doesn't play Gran Turismo much. And actually, before I say anything, Viper will set the new fastest time of the session with a 1:04. I wonder if that gravel, I mean the gravel is good for slowing down, but you can, it's so easy to lose control on gravel. But in terms of my friend, his post-race quote is, "My bumper is not your brakes." And that was pretty funny, especially if you've had the either pleasure or mispleasure, depending on how you look at it, of playing some of the daily races or online lobbies where people just don't have the proper racecraft to not run into you. Although accidents do happen, but there's some drivers that do it intentionally. Hopefully you guys have not been on the receiving end of that, but... And hopefully we don't see any of that here, although I think these drivers are talented enough, and also they have the proper amount of racecraft to not purposely run each other into the gravel. Although I can foresee somebody getting into the gravel at some point. One of these, I know I was sent a pronunciation of earlier, but say hey. Let me actually double check. I was given a pronunciation of this team earlier. Sohei. Okay, I was close. The Sohei racing driver of Golf Boy. I mean, honestly, that's another livery I thought was pretty cool. This is another Saab powered car, by the way. So Saab has at least two teams supplying them, or air quotes supplying them, because in game they're all Toyotas or Hondas. Which makes sense because Super Formula is traditionally a Japanese-only series. But that doesn't stop us here at Formula GT. We have fun. One of the nice things about playing racing games in general is that you get to experiment with a lot of stuff and race in different cars at different tracks that you wouldn't think is possible. I was playing a game the other day and I was racing a Super GT car, the Nissan GTR to be specific, on a track on like the 1966 version of Monaco. I mean, did I put it to the river? Yes. Although not as spectacularly as B23 putting it in the gravel for the Sohei car. We actually saw B23 in a different car during preseason, so I wonder if this is a recent team signing or not. But very cool though. Sohei Racing Team got some really cool liveries out there. All the teams have some cool liveries. So currently we have Deadeye on top, and then we have the High Caliber Racing XO car, and then we have FFR here in third place. That is our top 3 currently into this practice session. In about 3 minutes or so, I'm going to send out the 5-minute warning before we kick off with qualifying. And then it'll be about 10 minutes of qualifying, and then a quick little 5-minute break, and then we get straight to the racing action. That way it gives the drivers a chance to hydrate, because hydration is important. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. So, when you can, drink water. Don't drink water if it's going to cause you to spin out. That was an unfortunate crash, but hey, like I said earlier, luckily it is happening during the practice session. Something funny and interesting to note is that there is this, I think there's the same amount of, I'll have to go back and actually try to look at these liveries in more depth, but I think there's an equal amount of Honda cars to Saab powered cars, which is really cool, because I mean, yeah, Honda powers a lot of cars. I mean, they're currently powering Red Bull in Formula 1 and soon to be Aston Martin as well, but Saab as an automotive manufacturer doesn't exist. So if they win, if the Saab power cars, if a Saab powered vehicle wins, I'm just going to assume that they have a fighter jet engine in them, because that's what Saab makes now. They make fighter jet engines. Viper sets another fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Okay, I see a Toyota. I see a Toyota powered car right here with the Deadeye Racing vehicle. So we have a Honda, we have Toyota. I think this one's a Saab. Oh no, it's a Mercedes. I know there is a Saab powered car. So we have one Mercedes. Curious to see if they're going to run Ferrari engines or not. So we have some, I think Mercedes and Honda are probably the most prominent engine suppliers that we're going to see here. But still cool to see Saab. That makes me happy. Only thing that made me slightly happy is if we saw Hyundai as a engine supplier for here, because I'm a sucker for Hyundai. But anyways, alright, we have another driver coming in. Actually, we'll send out the, okay, we have Artura here currently. Alright. Just gonna go ahead and give him the 5 minutes of qualifying. We have a pretty stacked session here. We have 12 drivers here. So what would be normally the equivalent of two-fold or six-fold teams, which is more than we've seen for any of the other preseason races. We're gonna go back to spectating here. So currently our top 3. Our top 3 drivers currently are Viper, Whiteout, and C-Chan. Those are our top 3 cars at the moment. Oh, actually, I guess because some people left, it got reset a bit. So currently now C-Chan is the fastest on track, but Viper still holds the fastest lap record of the current session. He is 1.4 seconds ahead of his teammate. Oh, and C-Chan was off into the gravel just a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see what the tire strategy is going to be here, because another thing, especially for those of you who are new, we only run the soft and medium tire compounds. So hards are not at the disposal of any of these drivers. And for this season, we are not having any races, to my knowledge, within the wet weather. So intermediates and wet tires are not available either. I mean, if you want to use them in dry conditions, be my guest. I can't really recommend that, because those tires are just going to burn out way quicker than the other tires. That's their main caveat. in terms of like in-game, right? You can sometimes use them as like a substitute for the medium tire compound if you want to have like a little bit of a lower performance rating for some of the career events. It's an exploit I use. It's kind of like a little exploit I used when I was like going through the starter campaign of this game, if you will. But in races where there's tire wear, those intermediate tires aren't gonna get cooked. They're gonna be more they're not even, if you're gonna make this equivalent to a steak, they're not even gonna be well done cooked. They're gonna be congratulations. So yeah, not recommended to use intermediate tires on the dry track. End of story. Or I guess moral of the story, but you know, 3 minutes till qualifying. So, place your predictions in chat. Who is going to be our pole sitter at the beginning of the season? Who will be our first ever pole sitter in the regular season of Season 8 of Formula GT? It'll be very curious because drivers had about 4 weeks off from this, so I'm sure they've been practicing, especially on Brands Hatch, because this is the first race of the season, first points paying race of the season as well. So just can't wait to see how this driver is going to do. I think it's going to be a pretty even field. I don't think we're going to see an overly dominant performance from one driver. I mean, well, it is possible, but I still think that, oh, we have Gomez who left the room. Ideally, that would be a connectivity problem, and he'll be able to rejoin before qualifying starts. I don't know where Lucian is. Haven't heard anything from Lucian to my knowledge. And just through checking Discord, I haven't heard anything from Lucian. I know he might be getting ready because for the Grand Prestige League, there is a SF500 endurance race happening tomorrow at Spa. So there's a Super Formula endurance race happening. So he might be getting ready for that instead. Which, actually, fun fact, I'll be commentating there as well. So if you guys want to hear my commentary still, you can join me over there. And also, I don't know if he'll want me to out him or not, but I'll be joined by B23 in the commentary booth that day. So B23, I'm not going to roast you too hard in this session, unless it is absolutely warranted. So that is just getting that disclaimer out of the way right now. We are about a minute away from starting qualifying. Alright, soon as it hits 1, we are going to go ahead and get kicked off for qualifying. There we go. Qualifying will begin very shortly. We have 11 drivers so far. I don't know if Pixel officially entered in or not. Okay, alright, you know what I'll do is I'll restart the session. I'm gonna restart the session so we can make sure we have everybody in. Thank you, Bex. We're just gonna go ahead and have a restart of the session. Alright, so session is going to be reopened. I'll let everybody know. Alright, so we are getting the lobby back up and running. We're gonna give it a few minutes just so everybody can get into the lobby and get everything ready to go. We are not going to be doing another practice session, so all drivers will have to stay in the garage until qualifying begins. All right, we're starting to get drivers back in here now. Apologize about that. Gomez, I know Pixel wasn't able to get into session officially. Gomez is here now. So we're getting drivers back into the lobby. We're gonna ideally try to go at 13:05 for qualifying. If we get everybody in here, I'll ask everybody if they're ready to go, and then it'll be 10 minutes of quali. All right, so we got 9 drivers. All right, just gonna. All right, actually, I think we got everyone, or we got almost everyone. All right, so once we get everybody officially in, just gonna ask if they let me know when they're ready. Check out Exodus Motorsports there. They just tagged themselves into the game chat, so be sure to check them out on Instagram. Give them a follow, and give Formula GT a follow as well. Formula GT7, I believe that is what the Instagram is. Go check us out. Actually, that's something we will do for future events. We'll have the Instagram. All right, so we have 1 ready. All right, we have Woodson ready. So I think everybody's ready. We're just waiting on Pixel. I think we're waiting on Gothboy, Pixel, and Whiteout. All right. All right. So we're just waiting on Whiteout and Pixel to be ready, and then we can get going here. Gotta specifically tag Whiteout and Pixel. Okay, so I think everybody's ready, or we're just waiting on Pixel, I think. Alright, we're seeing ours in the chat. Just watching. Okay, so Pixel is not actually going to be in. So we have. Oh, Illusion is coming. Okay, so we'll give it about a few minutes for Illusion. All right, we'll give it a few minutes for Illusion. We'll give it till 13:10, so about 1:10. EST, Eastern Standard Time. And if we don't have Illusion by then we are going to have to get started with qualifying. I guess the drivers are going to get an extended practice session for a bit. Especially some of the drivers that came in kind of late. Alright. Still waiting for Illusion. So 13:10 is the hard cutoff, and then we're gonna go with it. We're gonna go with qualifying. Hopefully, if Loser gets in here before that, then we can just go right away. So, while we wait for Illusion, how's everybody's day going so far? You guys having a great day so far? I'm having a good day, because I get to commentate over these fantastic drivers we got here in the session. And we're at a pretty good track too, so I think we're going to have fun today. Just kind of tabbing between the stream, playback, and Discord. Making sure I'm not missing anything. Hard start is 13:10. So this would be a good break or a good chance to get some extra practice in if you want to, or you can hydrate, stretch, use the restroom, do whatever you need to. So you're ready and good to go for qualifying. 10 minutes of qualifying, and then we go from there. Whoever says the fastest time will start at the very front of the grid, and then it will go in descending order from there. So we're gonna be ready. So just to give you some more detail about Brands Hatch, if you are kind of unfamiliar about the circuit, very historic circuit. There's two different layouts that are used. There's also a shorter Indy layout, which is almost like a very misshaped oval, or it looks like a very blurry Bahrain almost, if you're familiar with the Bahrain International Circuit. So its historic track has been used for probably closer to a century now at this point. It's hosted Formula 1 races, it's hosted several different racing categories, even to this day it still does. It's just under 2.5 miles, about 2.45 miles around the track. We have 35 laps around this circuit today, so I think it'll be fun. I think we can definitely have some fun here today on this track. About 2 minutes until we have a hardcore start. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Alright, so about 1 minute to start. Hopefully we get illusion before then, but if not, then we're just unfortunately going to be a driver short this time around. We would have almost everybody, I think. I think the only, I mean, we're obviously missing IHR. They're not available at all for today. But we would only be missing one other driver from that point, and then we'd only be missing 3 drivers total. Pretty good for this lobby. Alright, well, it is 13:10. I'll do one last check to make sure I haven't heard anything from Lucian. Okay, I don't know if we've heard anything from Lucian. Just make sure everybody knows how to have good luck and have fun. Oh no, I don't want to enter in. I'm not a racer. Oh, oh, actually, oh, saved by the bell. We got Lucian here at the last second. All right, we're gonna wait for him to get in. Oh, right at 3:10. All right, that's what we like to see, chat. We like to see that. All right. I know, right? That was really close. All right, now we're starting qualifying. It is time for qualifying to begin here at Brands Hatch. It is go time. We're gonna see who gets pole position here at the first race of the season. Let's get it on, shall we? All right, and we're off. We're off to qualifying here now. Qualifying has now begun. Oh, it's a flurry of drivers getting out onto the track. They're only gonna have 10 minutes. So unlike Formula 1, where you have 3 different sessions where you'll have qualifying 1, qualifying 2, qualifying 3, where drivers get knocked out at each stage. This is one and done. So you have 10 minutes to get the best possible qualifying lap. Oh, we had somebody else join in. I think that might be another spectator that we have here checking out his team. I didn't hear anything about getting another driver that we were waiting on. Yeah, I didn't hear anything, so he might be doing similar to what Pixel's doing and just spectating with us. So it looks like Whiteout will be the first one to complete the outlap and get a flying lap in. So we're gonna start now. We're gonna really start seeing those qualifying times, and hopefully we don't have any impeding, because that would just suck to have impeding. Getting a little close to that gravel there. This is so processional. It's almost like a formation lap, even though we don't have those here. Oh, a little bit off track there, using all of that curb, taking a lot of real estate when it comes to that curb there. Oh, getting a little bit on the grass there. We're gonna go on board just a little bit with Whiteout here, the high caliber XO driver. Oh, he's getting a little shaky there, but he manages to keep it on the tarmac. Keeps it on tarmac there. And he's coming around to the last corner here. This will be the first time in the session, although it might be invalidated. Oh, a little bit of a snap there. Not what you want there. That's going to cost you at least a few tenths. Whiteout says the fastest time in the session. He's not by much though, by just under a few tenths. Just under a few tenths there. So now we're starting to see the fastest times come in. Now these times will start trickling down as time goes on. So let's see here. They got about 7-ish minutes left, about 7 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in this session. So we'll just have to see where pole position stands, because right now, I mean, some drivers are 11 seconds off the pace. And it being 11 seconds off for qualifying is definitely not somewhere you want to be. Ideally, you want to have no time in between, but the closer the better. Because right now the gap between first and second is just under 5/10 of a second. Archer, oh, he's going to actually abandon the lap and go back. So Viper is coming around. He's about to set a new time. Oh, that's an out lap, so it's not even official time yet. Flaring Aces is going to fire off into the pits. Risky line to take for the pit stops, but hey. So right now, your top three are Whiteout, Viper, and C-Chan. So we have a driver from High Caliber, we have a driver from Deadeye, and then FFR. Oh, Gomez is stopped on track for some reason. Flaring Aces has a 3-second penalty. Oh, that's no bueno at all. I can promise you that's probably from cutting the lines on pit entry. You gotta be really precise when it comes to that pit lane, or pit entry, or else it's gonna come back to bite you. The Sohei cars of XO Godboy is about to cross the line again. And it will be an improved time, but I don't think it improved the position. Some drivers here who have still yet to set a time. Hearing a lot of little beeps. Interesting. Switching to C-Chan actually gives us a beep. That's funny. So yeah, right now, I mean, actually Viper now will take provisional pole position with a 1:03. That is a spicy time there. Now 4/10 ahead of Whiteout, who is 2.4 seconds ahead of C-Chan. That is our top three for this race so far. B23 in the Suhei car. Currently sitting at the backfield, but he doesn't have an official time yet. So that is understandable. Woodson is going to go ahead and set a new personal best, but I don't think it improves their position much. Illusion here. I think Illusion is one of the other cars that's in a different car compared to the rest of the field. I'll have to look into and see which car that is. It's an Audi powered car, which I think is the only one on the field. Checking in on some of the other drivers here. The Scuderia Force driver, or Racing Force drivers, are both pretty close to each other. About 1 second separates the pair. Oh wow, and Whiteout sets the fastest time of the session by under 3,000 or 300ths of a second. That is extremely close margins there between the top two. The American and the British driver getting really close in terms of times to each other. Gomez will set a new time, and that moves the Mexican driver up to P3. 2 seconds behind Viper, but only 2/10 ahead of C-Chan. We have a lot of drivers here from multiple different nationalities, which is, to me, is just awesome. I love seeing that. Killswitch, the Project Zero driver, is only 3/10 off of Artura, the Dutch driver. So, I mean, it's possible. I mean, they're on an outlap right now. Currently sitting at the bottom of the totem pole, but I have faith that they'll be able to improve their standings. We're just barely over halfway done with the session now. We are now officially at 3 minutes remaining on the session, so probably enough to get another 2 laps in if you're to start your outlap now. But right now, it's Whiteout on provisional pole position. Viper currently chilling in second place. 2 seconds after Gomez, and Gomez is sitting in third right now. Gomez will set a new lap time to get closer to Viper, but not by much. You're really only going to have time to about do another outlap or so, and then another full lap. So this one is going to come down to the wire, most certainly. You need to have your... You might be able to get 1 lap after the outlap. That might be the only thing you'll be able to get out of this. As the time ticks down. Actually, no, you'll probably get 2 laps out of it now. Now you're starting to encroach that territory where you'll get only 1 single lap. And now Schulte, the Project Zero car, moves up into 7th place. Only 900s behind Woodson, just under 1/10 of a second behind. Trying to get those tires warmed up. They're about to do the probably their last outlap of the session. I think everybody now, I think Gothboy for Suhei Racing is going to be sitting in the pit lane. I don't think they'll have enough time to go out for another lap, so I think they'll be in provisional 10th place on the grid to start. They would have to go now. Now would be pretty much like the prime time to go, but I don't think they'll have the time to do that. Yeah, no, I think it's probably, I think Gothboy's done qualifying. So we'll check in with some of our other drivers. We're down to 1 minute remaining in this session right now. Whiteout, Viper, and Gomez are your top 3 drivers, so, and from 3 different teams too, so that's awesome to see. Love seeing a good variety of teams fighting for the pole position. So we have XL High Caliber looking to take the first pole position of the season, followed by a newer team, Deadeye Racing, and then followed by Scuderia Racing Force. Very good stuff on the 3. And very good stuff from everybody, honestly. Illusion will go ahead and fire off into 6th place. 30-second remain on this session. Is there going to be a new time? I don't even think the drivers would even get their final laps out. I think it's only a very short window once that timer closes to actually finish up the lap. Gomez will set a new time, will improve the time, but not the position there. But Viper, I think, is on a fast lap too. I think Viper is actually in a really good spot to go ahead and get pole position here. Oh, Viper is on track to get it. Currently 1/10 ahead of pole time. Coming down to the last wire. He's going to get it. It depends on his last quarter. He's got a toe. It is provisional pole by 100th of a second to whiteout. I think the timer is starting now, so drivers are going to have to finish off their laps, and then that's going to be it for them. Oh, I don't think whiteout's going to have enough time for another lap. Yeah, so I think Viper will get provisional pole position here. Awesome. You're gonna see a blue screen really quickly because I am taking a screenshot of the qualifying standings. So wow, that was close. I mean, that time difference there. There was only like just over a 100th of a second in between first and second. So Viper gets provisional pole position. And this is gonna be our grid starting. So we're gonna start at, we'll start at 13:28. We'll just say 13:28. So our top three: Viper, Whiteout, and Gomez. That's our top three. So we're gonna just go in and while the drivers are gonna be on their quick little break to make sure they get their drinks, their water, their snacks, whatever they need to do. I'm gonna definitely grab my beverage of choice, being water at the moment. So Viper takes the provisional pole position here at the beginning of the season. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the rest of the grid. We have Whiteout, Gomez, C-Chan, Flaring Aces, Luzian, Schultze, Woodson, Kill Switch, B23, Gothboy, and Arturo rounds out the grid. It's about 5 minutes until we start. So I myself will go ahead and take a quick little 5-minute break, and we'll be back, and there'll be race time here at Brands Hatch. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere unless you have to go to the restroom, then obviously do that. But you'll definitely want to see this race. It'll be a fun one. See you guys in a bit. seeing a question of, am I going to be the one to call a red flag, is going to be slightly concerning. Hopefully we won't need to do that, but I think generally I might be the one that would call the red flag. I am actually checking right now with the officials. So before we get started, I'm just going to confirm about the red flag. So just I'm just gonna get confirmation about what's happening with red flags. So once I get that confirmation, I'll let you guys know, and then we'll start. Okay, so fun fact: there is no red flags. So try not to crash. Just gonna let the drivers know that. So I just got confirmation, no red flags, so if you crash at the beginning, that's unfortunate, but anyways, only shenanigans, that is right, Illusion. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. We're gonna be starting here. We're here at Brands Hatch in the UK, 35 laps, 2.45 miles per lap. It's go time here at Formula GT. We're gonna begin here. Season opener. We're just gonna wait for those 5 red lights to go out. And then it'll be time to get rolling here for round 1 of the season. And there's the 5 red lights. We'll see if anybody jumps. It doesn't look like anybody's jumping. And it's lights out and away we go. A good start from Viper, who's going to hold the lead, but it looks like some drivers might be trying to take advantage of that inside. Gomez trying to make up a position, but it doesn't quite happen. A good amount of contact, but hey, nobody's off in the gravel in turn 1. That's what we like to see there. Beautiful stuff there from our drivers currently. Using all that curve, but oh, there's somebody off. It's one of the Scuderia drivers. I believe that is, oh, we have Artura in the Disney Plus car that's off in the background. That's unfortunate. I think Woodson was the one that went off a little bit earlier there. So it's going to be a tightly knit battle between them. XOB23 is trying to get past Schulte. The Sohei car trying to take on the Project Zero car. We'll see how that goes. Oh, and Schulte is off into the gravel. I don't believe there's any contact there. Illusion will go ahead and move on up in the Audi Bosch car, right behind the Suhei B23. Viper has a pretty solid lead to start us off here. He has got a 1.2 second lead, but if he's in that gravel, that's going to definitely diminish that lead ever so slightly. We have some love for our fellow team members in the chat. Right now, we are seeing some really good racing here. The race you might want to watch for is C-Chan and Gomez. These two were pretty close to each other in qualifying, so you know their race pace is going to be very similar. We're going to go ahead onto the Halo cam for C-Chan. That Yokohama decal's blurry for whatever reason. Some good racing there between the two. Take a look at Gomez here. Looking at the C-Chan, I mean, keeping a pretty decent distance, but losing ground to the two front runners, a Whiteout and Viper. Some very clean racing so far. I think he's gaining a little bit on C-Chan. They both touched the gravel just a bit. Just gonna give Whiteout and Viper some chances to go ahead and extend their gap. With the Deadeye Racer and the High Caliber Racer going at it. So right now Viper does have the fastest official time of a 1:06.192. I believe all these cars started on the soft tire compound, which you have to run both the soft and medium tire compound. So the main difference between the two is if you're unfamiliar, the soft tire has more grip than the medium by a long shot, but it burns out quicker, while the medium has the opposite problem. It doesn't have as much grip, but it will last longer. The hard tire has the least amount of grip, but lasts the longest, but we don't have that with us. Doesn't exist here. Oh, C-Chan off into the gravel a little bit, but doesn't appear to have... Oh, okay, they're losing a good amount of time now. So that was definitely unfortunate for C-Chan. Moving down towards the upper middle of the field. Lucian is in a pretty good spot. They're not really being hustled by anyone. The lone Audi just doesn't really have a whole lot to worry about. They don't have to worry about collisions. And they're in a pretty good spot too. P5 is not bad at all. The Scuderia Force or Racing Force driver actually moved up a few positions from when we lost all of them, so good for them. B23 still in a good spot relative to qualifying. Actually, I think they're in the exact same spot from when they qualified. And then we have the other Suhei drivers. So two Suhei drivers are relatively close to each other. Oh, a little bit of back and forth between Aces and Killswitch. The Deadeye Racing driver and the Project Zero driver getting close to each other, one going a bit wider than the other. Some good racing between the pair of them. The nice thing is that so far, I mean, there's been a few run-ins with the gravel, but so far everybody's just kept it pretty clean. We're gonna go on board here with, let's see, who do we go on board with? What seems like the closest race? Okay, here we go, perfect. We're gonna go on board with Killswitch trying to get past the David Schulte, and he sends it up the inside, gets the overtake done. Wow, that could have ended badly, but the two teammates for Project Zero, they just get it done. No real problems. He's looking for another opening to try to retake 10th place from his teammate. Heading out to the POV of Schulte, who has a really artistic helmet, honestly. That's a nice helmet. I like that one. Probably my favorite one I've seen so far. But, while that helmet might be my favorite, P11 is probably not his favorite position. So he's on an improved lap, so he's looking to set a personal best lap. Viper's still the fastest lap, although it's a bit faster now than it was previously. Although that time gap is kind of increasing between the American and the Canadian driver here for the Project Zero team. Oh, Flaming Aces had a little bit of a snap there, but this looks like it might be another battle incoming. The other Deadeye racer going against the Suhei racer. Oh, a little bit of a snap there too. Excellent job keeping it from going into the barriers. And is it just me, or is that spring not attached to anything? If you look towards, like, beyond the steering wheel, I think there's a spring that's just not attached to anything. That's a fun little detail I didn't notice till just now. Also, have you guys ever sat in one of these vehicles, or a vehicle similar to this? So, at my college, shortly before I graduated, they were building a 3D printed Red Bull. Before I go on with that, a beautiful overtake there from Aces onto Godboy to reclaim 8th place. But this fight is definitely a fight that might be going on again here very soon, going into the straightaway. Oh, this is going to be a very intense race here. Oh, he was thinking about the inside. I think he was thinking about that inside, but decided against it. We'll check back end on this fight later. This might be the closest racing fight on the grid. Viper can't really shake Whiteout all that much. I mean, it's almost a 2-second gap now, yeah, but I mean, Whiteout does have the fastest lap. So, I mean, they're pretty close to each other on laps. The laps have been very consistent for Whiteout and Viper. These cars have been very consistent on the pace. So back to earlier. So my college was building a 3D printed Red Bull RB16B, and I got to sit inside of it, and it was so much different than just driving your average road car. It was awesome. 10 out of 10 would definitely do it again. So it's very curious just to see like the different interiors of these different single seaters. Vipers was extending for a little bit, but he was also losing that gap too, so I think it might be corner specific. I think Whiteout took that took turn 2 a lot better than Viper did. Oh, C-Chan's already in the pits. He's already shedding the soft tire for the medium. He's going to be on a long stint for that medium. The undercut might be the play, but oh, the pit lane. Oh, and a spin for C-Chan. Oh no, that is not what you wanted. C-Chan off it to the gravel and with a 3-second penalty, waiting for a good opportunity to rejoin. Now he's going to make a shot. That is simply unfortunate. Kill switch is here now, going into the kill switch is up and now into 10th place after that unfortunate incident. So let's see. Oh, Viper actually also pits in for the medium tires. He actually saw the I think he might have seen Z-Chan go for pit and think, hey, I might try that too. Where's... Oh, yeah. I momentarily forgot that C-Chan had a very big moment earlier. Now, Whiteout's about 9 seconds ahead, but he is on older soft tires. Actually, let's pull that data up real quick. Specific for this car. Oh, he's already on the mediums. He started on the mediums. Okay. So some cars start on a medium tire. I think a lot of these cars actually start on mediums, come to think of it. I think there's only a few drivers that did start on soft tires. C-Chan might have been the only one that actually started on a soft tire combo. Woodson too. Woodson's on the first set of mediums. Yeah, so I think aside from Viper, Woodson, I almost said Woodrow, like the president, and C-Chan, I think everybody actually started on the medium tire compound. So strategy is definitely going to come into play here. I'm sure, like, even in before testing for this, or before practicing for this race in the practice session, I'm sure they did probably hundreds of laps trying to get ready for this race and testing which strategy they think might work better for them. So the biggest thing for the soft and medium tire compound to work is that you would need to make up a lot of ground on the medium tire compound after you came out of the pits so that it would be justifiable. So if you make up enough time onto the car in front of you, then the undercut definitely works. But with the overcut strategy, which would be the opposite, or the medium to soft strat, you'd just have to make sure that your time stays so consistent that even when a driver switches, they just can't catch up to you. So we'll see if the undercut strat was the strategy to go with, or was the overcut the better option. Go see if we can catch any battles. Oh, here's a battle right here. Woodson against B23. The Scuderia Force car, or Racing Force, taking on the Sue car, and it looks like there might be a pass down here. Coming down, and oh, he doesn't quite get it there. Oh, and a slide. He's gonna go off into the gravel. I think he just got a little too hot there coming into that last corner. That is just very unfortunate there for Woodson. I thought he was gonna get the overtake done, but the soft-powered car just edges him out and onto the gravel. Good clean racing though. There's no contact between the two. But Schulte and Killswitch again, the teammates are both about to go right back at it. Whiteout is now into the pits now. Switching to the soft tire compound. Now, okay, well, here's the thing though. So the tires are going to be at about even levels of wear. So the medium tire at this current stage is probably going to be right around the same tire, or got the same tire life as the soft tire. They're both going to get around the back marker currently of XL Artura, the lone Disney Red Bull driver. I think that's what their team is. Blue flags, gotta let pass. Oh, almost contact with Whiteout there after going to the gravel a bit. So this is definitely going to be the battle you're going to want to keep an eye on, and I'll do my part to keep an eye on this battle for you guys. So this will be for the lead and for the inaugural race win of the season. Both of these drivers were so close in qualifying. Just over 1/100th of a second separated these two, and we knew that this race was going to be a very strong showing between these two drivers. They're coming up to another car that they will have to lap and overtake, so the blue flags are out. So to avoid getting a penalty, they will have to let the car by. It'll definitely be an overtake up in this next corner, but this might actually, oh, contact between Gothboy and Whiteout. That is not at all what Whiteout wanted there. He wanted what Viper had, a smooth transition and a smooth overtake onto the car being overlapped. But I think the soft tire is playing out. So I think the overcut strategy is the working strategy. So right now it is a very interesting battle we got going on here between Honda versus Toyota, and with High Caliber Racing and Deadeye Racing respectively. So this is definitely going to be a good long battle that we're going to see here. I think this is going to last for the rest of the race. We'll see if he can get the overtake done onto the start finish straight here. Oh, he's going for the inside. No, not quite. But Whiteout does set the new fastest lap of the session. We're going to take a look at some of the other cars here. See if there's another battle we can check in on. Looks like, oh, CJ is just going to fire on past Kill Switch there, up into 8th place. Making somewhat of a good recovery drive after that accident coming out of the pit lanes and that 3-second slow down penalty. The Mercedes powered car passing, I think, another Mercedes powered car into the fray. Moving from 11th place all the way to 8th now, so good stuff for C-Chan there, although qualified 4th place, so lost a few positions there. Oh, here comes another battle. Sue against Scuderia Action Force, but B23 fires up into the pit lane, and Woodson just keeps on going comfortably in 6th place right now. Oh, now this battle is getting intense. We're actually going to switch to the head cam for the High Caliber Racing driver. Oh, he was thinking about the inside. He might have had a gap, but it would have been very risky. And a potential contact between both of them might even knock them both out of the race, or given a penalty there for just unnecessary aggression. This track is a bit tricky to overtake on, so there hasn't been a great shot yet. But these cars are so close to each other. These cars have been so close to each other ever since the pit stops. Whiteout's thinking for a pass now. We're gonna go into kind of like the wing cam. Here we're gonna see if he's gonna get the overtake. Bumper cam. Oh, and they're running into traffic. The blue flags are out. They're both gonna get by seamlessly. Oh, I think there's a very slight bit of contact, but not enough to mess either driver up. This is a very tightly knit race between Viper and Whiteout there. He's gonna get it. He gets the overtake. The overtake is made. Whiteout's in the lead, but Viper's gonna want to reclaim that position back. B23 gets overlapped now by the two lead drivers of Viper and Whiteout. Good stuff. That was excellent racing there from the two. Kept it clean for the most part. And the clean overtake was made. The overcut strategy is seemingly the stronger strategy here. Good defensive efforts by Viper, but it was just not enough. Whiteout takes the lead of the Grand Prix. We're about halfway through or we're getting close to the halfway stage of the race. About another 20 laps left for the lead drivers. There's only 4 drivers, well, a few more now. We're going to be on the lead lap here soon. The podium spots have pretty much stayed the same. It's been the same 3 drivers in the podium for pretty much the entire race. Gomez is comfortably in 3rd place right now, with the next driver, Illusion, being about 24 seconds behind. But some good racing here. Oh, we're going to see a battle between the other Deadeye driver and Woodson, the other Scuderia Action Force driver, or Racing Force. I don't know where Action Force came from. Although Woodson is extending that gap just a bit onto Aces there. But I don't know how much it's going to be. They do have overtake on, so overtake is on. But it's only at a 0.6 times instead of the regular 1 times. So these cars have a push to pass kind of mechanic called the overtake mode. Some other cars have this. It's similar to kind of like DRS. But instead of like one of the elements or parts of the rear spoiler or rear wing opening up, it just gets a little bit extra fuel into the engine for a little bit of extra power. So that's what we have going on here. So good battle between these two here. So funny thing to note is that we have 2 American v Britain battles going on here. We have one for 5th and 6th, and then the other one for the lead. Although whiteout is making sure it's not even much of a battle anymore. And that gap is being extended. The high caliber racing driver looking to make a statement. Showing that Honda power is superior to Toyota power and every other powertrain here. Whether it's Ferrari, whether it's Mercedes, whether it's Saab, Audi, the power of magic and friendship, or the whatever engine type the Disney car has. It looks like Honda too. Very good racing here from everybody. We'll see if we have a battle we can kind of check in on. So far, I think the only battle we can have here to check in on is Woodson and Flaring. I mean, these 2 cars have been getting pretty close to each other. The number 89 driver and... I'm trying to see if I can identify a number on this one. Oh, getting a little squirrel there with Woodson. Yeah, I don't see a racing number on the Racing Force card. Blue flags are out. Some more cars are being overlapped, I presume. The Suhei Racing car of Godboy is appearing to be overlapped. Oh, so I had a bit of a yawn attack. So yeah, I mean, the field has spread out quite a bit. Although, I think that soft tire advantage is starting to somewhat depreciate a bit, because you got to remember the soft tires do wear out quicker than the mediums, and Viper's now on the medium tires. Oh, but White actually goes back into the pits. He's making a pit stop. That's a very interesting choice. Oh, he's back on the mediums now. Maybe the soft tires were just not doing it for him. Viper retakes the race lead. So I wonder if this means Viper is going to have to pit in again as well. Very interesting strategies. I would figure this would be more of a 1-stop race, but I mean, it might be a 2-stop race. Very curious to see how the reason for that pit stop. Still comfortably, the podium is still comfortably the same as it was when we started the Grand Prix, with Viper, Whiteout, and Gomez taking the top 3 slots. This battle has still been, or these cars have still been pretty close throughout a good duration of this race, being Aces and Woodson. Now we are over halfway now. We have about 16-ish laps to go, 15 probably for some of these drivers coming up here. Oh, Viper's actually going to fire off into the pits too. I wonder if he's going to go to mediums again as well, or if he's going to run the softs for the remainder of the race. Oh, he's back on the mediums as well. know, honestly. I think, although the tire wear is increased a bit, so the drivers actually have to use the pit stops, but still very curious on if the medium soft medium was the play or not. It might be, because right now, although then again, fresh rubber for Viper. Viper's going to be catching up on slightly fresher rubber, but Gomez also getting closer too. He's playing the long game here, I believe. Checking in on just some of the other cars here, because I don't think we have a battle here as of yet. We see a blue flag now out for one of the Suhei cars. Although not in a major position where it's going to be penalty inducing. Oh, a spin for the Suhei racing car of Gothboy. That is just unfortunate news for the Belgian driver. B23 will have to give way to the faster Viper, who currently is in second place. I don't think he's pulled away from Gomez, that's for certain, but I don't think he's really caught up all that much to Whiteout. Well, I guess it's outlap, so I guess it's not really fair to try to compare the two at the moment. Oh, it looks like almost a bit of a moment there between Lujan and Schulte. Two drivers with the XO tag, but racing on two completely different teams. Although Lujan is the only car from his team, I believe, on track. Unless there's another solo driver, I just don't think they have the same livery. Or I don't think they're running separate liveries for the same team. Because I do not believe that is allowed. Okay, B23 will fire off into the pits, shutting the soft tire for maybe either another soft or probably medium. There's mediums. Gomez will actually pull off into the pits too. Gonna go ahead and probably also do a switch to another set of mediums. Oh no, he went for the soft tires. He wants to see if he can catch up to the other two. It's gonna be a long game to try to get the softs to the end of the race, but it is possible. You're gonna have to be really gentle on the tires. C-Chan going on the grass just a bit to get out of the way for Viper. I wonder if actually we can check this. Oh, Viper's almost out of overtakes. There's a yellow flag somewhere that might have been behind. Oh, there's a bit of debris on track. Okay, that's interesting. So we'll see. Whiteout does have a bit more overtake here than Viper does, which will play to his favor. Gomez has a lot more overtake than both of those drivers. Some drivers haven't even used their overtake yet, such as Aces and Chan. They haven't used their overtake at all. Viper is on track to get another fastest lap of the race, so we'll see. Oh, but now I'm actually noticing that time cap is actually shrinking by a lot. Whiteout might have been the one that went off track earlier, because if you look at his last time of 1 minute 11 compared to the 1 minute 5 of Viper, I mean that would kind of make sense for adding or getting a bit quicker time, or gaining time to the high caliber racing driver ahead. We could once again see a battle between these two very talented drivers here coming towards the end of the Grand Prix. We're almost at the 10 laps remaining stage of this race. It's crazy how fast this race went by. Oh, it looks like we're going to have a battle here between Lujan and Aces, so we're going to go ahead and get to that first person camera for you guys. The helmet camera of Lujan here, as he goes in and potentially going for an overtake here, and then probably either this straightaway or even the final straightaway at the start-finish straight. No overtake yet. There was room to attempt one, but I don't think it would have been very successful, so playing the long game. You don't want to burn out your tires too much. Sorry about that. you don't want to burn out your tires too much because you'll need them towards the end of the Grand Prix. And I think that might be why, part of the reason why Viper's still continuously catching up to Whiteout. This race is far from over, folks. There's a lot of time that you can make up in 10 laps, especially on a fresher set of mediums. So it is very possible that we will once again see another battle for the lead. But it is worth noting that Whiteout was faster on lap 25 than Viper. He set a faster time. Woodson is going to fire off into the pit lane now. Switching out those mediums, maybe for a set of softs. That's what I would do personally at this stage. But no, he is back out on the mediums. I think right now he's just trying to conserve position. He does have a Suhei behind him. The soft powered car is coming up behind him. So this could be a battle for 7th place that we might be seeing here in the next lap or so. Oh, Woodson is off into the grass. The Sohei driver of P23 is just going to move up, and I think Schulte was also going to try to take that position too. Or no, oh, it's third place car of Gomez, the Racing Force car. He's going to make way for the Mexican driver as he goes back up, but Gomez is actually pretty comfortably in third place. He's 30 seconds ahead of Aces, but still 26 seconds behind Viper. Viper is on track to set another fastest lap of the race. So we'll definitely keep an eye on this. This might be a battle, but Whiteout's actually pulling away a little bit. So some corners, Whiteout is definitely taking a lot faster, but there's also other corners where Viper is a lot faster too. It's definitely going to be a balance of who can be more consistent and who can keep it out of the gravel. That is definitely the one thing you want to keep an eye on at the moment. Which driver is going to be more consistent, but also, because they're coming up to traffic, which driver is going to get the short end of the stick when it comes to traffic? Although Whiteout is definitely pulling away, but potentially at the expense of their overtake. A lot of blue flags coming out, so blue flags might disrupt some of the battles that we may have here. Especially like this one here between Illusion and Aces. The Audi car being stalked by the Honda powered HCR car. Let's see if we can find a battle to spectate on. We haven't seen a whole lot about the the Mickey Mouse powered car. I couldn't find anything on what team it was, so I apologize. We'll just call it the Disney car for the remainder of the race. And oh, a bit too much onto the curb there, and that's a spin. That is not at all what you wanted right there. Unfortunate for the Honda powered car. That actually might be the Adidas Red Bull car, because I know there's an Adidas Red Bull team. That might be them. Aces is going to go off into the pits. Switching to a set of soft tires, which isn't a bad idea for the remaining few laps of this Grand Prix. So Viper's made up a bit of time, and we'll just keep an eye on this. Getting a little score there on that curve, on that straightaway. That is a very unique curve, because you would think it would be a track limit violation, but it's not. You get full credit for riding on that curve. A very unique curve. I haven't seen anything like it at any other track in any league or any circuit for that matter. So very interesting stuff here we got going on here. I think this gap has been relatively consistent between Whiteout and Viper. It's pretty much the case of this car is faster in one part of the track and this other car is faster in another. Gomez is looking like he's having a few connectivity issues as we see that car just stuttering a bit. We're coming down almost to the point where we're on the last 5 laps of the Grand Prix remaining. We have 6 laps to go for the 2 lead drivers. Oh, a half-second penalty for... I'm guessing that's track limits for the Canadian. And he's going to go into slow down line. He might... Yeah, he was still to let Gomez pass because that is a blue flag. Even without penalties, that blue flag would definitely be in play. B23 in the Sohei racing car. Currently in 7th place. Pretty comfortably too. I mean, there's a good chance that he can catch C-Chan and get 6th, but he's still 13 seconds ahead of Woodson. So I don't, unless there's a massive accident, I don't foresee B23 slinking back down into 8th. Oh, looks like a little bit of a... Oh, somebody's off in the gravel. Oh, it's Arturo. Arturo was off into the gravel. I kind of missed exactly what made it. Oh, a little bit of contact there between Gothboy and I believe that was one of the... Yeah, it was Woodson. It was one of the Scuderia Racing Force cars. A little bit of contact there. I think that's also what might have sent Arturo into the gravel again. Just some contact there. There was definitely some kind of contact. I did miss though where the contact was. We are down to 5 laps remaining. What place do you need to qualify? I believe as long as you're in the lobby, you're going to qualify. As far as I'm aware, we don't have like back in the earlier days of Formula 1, like say the 70s or 80s, where you have to pre-qualify for a race. You just have to be in there. And Exo's in the gravel, getting out of the way of the HCR car in the lead. As long as Whiteout keeps that consistency, he's got a very good shot at winning this Grand Prix, especially as they hit traffic. But traffic could also be a factor too. I feel like traffic and consistency are going to be the 2 driving factors that decide who wins this race. Only 4 laps to go now. Exo's just going to go ahead and pit for a new set of soft tires. Another 3-second penalty. That pit lane has been getting a lot of people. I'm just glad we're not going to Road Atlanta. Or no, not Road Atlanta. I think Virginia. Because Virginia, I think, has some really scummy track limits. Alright, so yes, drivers are on teams. Most teams consist of 2 drivers with several reserves. There's a few edge cases here where there's like 2 teams with only a singular driver. I don't know the point system off the top of my head, but you will see a post about it on the Formula GT socials about points. I give the points to the organizer, and then the organizer delegates the points from there. I don't know if this is similar to Formula 1 where there is a extra point for fastest lap. In that case, Viper is looking like he would get that right now as we get down to the final 3 laps of this Grand Prix. And I don't know if it's where everybody scores a point or if it's only the top 10. Because if it's the top 10, then everybody but Gothboy and Arturo would get points. No problem, One Bless. And thank you for taking time out of your day to join us on stream here. We really do appreciate every single one of you. And I know the drivers and teams appreciate it as well. There are some very talented drivers here right now, including the 2 race leaders that kind of just walked off into the sunset compared to everybody else. I mean, they're the only 2 drivers. Well, now Gomez just starting up on lap 33, but they're the only 2 drivers on the lead lap. So the top 2 drivers definitely were head and shoulders above the rest for this race. So very solid stuff there from Whiteout and Viper. Very solid stuff. It's solid stuff from everybody, honestly. Lucian is solidly in the gravel, which is unfortunate. The Audi driver. Oh, he's gonna lose a position to Aces there. I think in terms of scoring points, I think Deadeye is going to get the most points out of everybody because they're 2nd and 4th. So they may be on top of the team's championship after this race. We'll have to figure out the point scoring system and then let you know. Or then we'll post on social medias. we might be seeing a battle here between Lucian and Aces again, so we'll go ahead and hop into that camera of the Norwegian driver, Lucian, and I always get these mixed up, so if I did get it wrong, I apologize. But it appears that the Norwegian driver is chasing down the British driver. Not sure if we'll get any position changes here coming into the last few laps of this race. It's the final lap now, actually, for Whiteout and now Viper. So unless Whiteout goes off into the gravel, he's just got to stay consistent. He's just got to keep it on the track, and he's got this race won. I know High Caliber Racing will be very excited for that result, but so will Deadeye Racing. Deadeye Racing will definitely be loving this result too. A brand new team with a P2 to start off. Oh, there's a spin from Artura there. Not what you want to see. Gomez is going to have to get past Echan there. He'll be on the final lap too, but he's just going to have to overtake there. Some blue flags going out. Gomez has had a pretty quiet race this race. I mean, didn't really get involved in anything. Just kind of was there. Just kind of vibing in third place. Which, hey, it's a podium nevertheless. And he's coming around the final corner of the race. And the winner of the first race of the season, High Caliber Racing. Whiteout takes the win here at Brands Hatch. Followed by Viper. Very solid racing from the two drivers there. Excellent done to High Caliber Racing. They've produced a race winner. Gomez is going to go ahead. Gomez is about 30 seconds off of the lead driver. So, looks like this podium is going to be done. Flaring Aces is also going to be done. They're going to be a lap down. Gomez is the only other one that's going to be finishing on the lead lap of this race. Oh, man, it's just going to cut. And that's the end of the Grand Prix, everybody. And your winner, Whiteout, starting from P2, making his way to the lead. Excellent stuff there. Let's go ahead and pull up the results here. Go and take a screenshot of this real quick so you'll see a variety of blue screens. Yeah, I'll wait till that actually disappears. Okay, it's... Yeah, I'm gonna get stuck in black screen or you guys are gonna get stuck with this little black screen on your top left for purgatory for a bit. I do apologize. That's just a PlayStation thing. Once we get done with these, I'll take the last screenshot and it'll be the last time you see a blue screen until the very end of the... There we go. Until the very end of the stream. So, alright. Great race from everybody. So we'll go ahead and go back through the results again. We have Whiteout, Viper, Gomez, and that is your podium right there, followed by Aces, Lucian, Sechan, P23, Woodson, and then going on to the next one, Schulte, Killswitch, Godboy, and Artura round out this race grid. Alright, so actually, if you are watching this, let me actually add you real quick because I know you sent me a friend request right before we started. So I'm actually going to ask if we can get Whiteout for an interview. And before I bring in Whiteout, be sure to have your party audio enabled so everybody can hear you. So you're going to see another blue screen again. I do apologize. We're going to try to see if we can get Whiteout in for a quick little interview. Alright, so in a bit we're going to have Whiteout here and we're going to just ask him a few questions about the race. We'll just give it a few minutes. Alright, so we'll see if we can get him in here for a quick interview. Just ask him a few things about the race. And then we'll wrap up the stream here, and then we'll be back live next time on September 14th for Barcelona. Give it about 3-ish more minutes. Actually, I'm also going to save that race replay too while I'm thinking about it. Race replay's been saved. Maybe I can try to go through there, try to get some highlights. We'll see if we can get Whiteout. If not, then we'll try to grab Viper or maybe one of these other drivers. Unfortunately, I do not think we're actually going to be getting that interview. You'll see another blue screen and a little bit of a black overlay on PlayStation here for a bit. But all right, guys. I think we are actually good to wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to follow the Twitch channel if you haven't already. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time at Barcelona and the Circuit de Catalunya. It's going to be a great one. You guys will not want to miss it. Be sure to check us out on Instagram, which, let me actually pull up what that is real quick. I need to actually link it on the Twitch. Yeah, Formula GT League _GT7. Be sure to follow us. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. And until then, have a great rest of your day. Have a great week. Take care of yourself. Stay hydrated. Stay healthy. And we'll see you guys next time when Formula GT returns.